Good afternoon, everyone. How is everybody doing? I hope you are doing well. If you're not, I'm praying for everyone in the world. Good, decent people who just want peace and some semblance of harmony. And this is, I'm over 50 and I've looked at it and I've thought, what is it that I didn't recognize years and years ago? Was it that bad? Is it getting worse? I used to listen to my grandparents, born before the Depression. My great-grandmother born before 1900, and you hear them say that things are getting worse, and you just think, well, I'm sure every generation thinks that. Not necessarily. I think in remembered history, they may think that. But what about before then? Things are changing. Things are being altered. Words, definitions being changed. People saying things about history that aren't true, but it goes on a recorded film and a leader said it, so therefore it must be true. People don't question anything. I'm highly suspicious our history is not accurate. And you would say, well, what is inaccurate? Whatever it took to shift us in the direction that they wanted us to go in. That's what's not accurate. We have magnificent buildings that we were told took 600 years to build, some of them. Some of them just sprung up in a short amount of time. And they were built by people in the dark ages, some of them. Those dark, horrible ages where things were just awful. And we can't duplicate some of this today. Oh, well, it would cost too much. It would, all the excuses. Instead, we put up these monoliths that are cold and hard, and there's nothing warm about them. Just spend some time in a hospital. Spend some time in a nursing home. And tell me if that's for the betterment of the people. If it's really the best that we could do. People are struggling. And it's easier just to live in the programming than to face any amount of truth. And I understand that. Because there are times I wish I could go back. I wish I could go back. It's a burden to know some of the truths, but we were born for some reason at this time. And some of us can see. And I don't know why some can see and some can't. But that's the way it is. And I don't know what kind of evidence it's going to take for them to wake up, or I hate that, but become aware. But it seems to be shifting. What I do know is, even though it was very comfortable, it was still wrong the way we were living under the umbrella of lies. And the truth needs to come out. And it's not the people, it's the ones in control of the people. They have like cattle prods that are electrically charged at the end, and they just move the population with fear. And that's no way to live. It's no way to live. And if our leaders really had our best interest at heart, would we really be struggling the way we are? Would certain things be free, but other things that we need to survive nearly break us? Like $900 a month for medication for 3 months to keep my son alive years ago from grand mal seizures? Would they really do that if they really, really cared? Would they structure the situation, the government, the economy, all of it, if that's what they really cared about? Why couldn't they provide that $900 medication that my insurance wouldn't cover? Why did it take 3 months to get Medicaid so that he wouldn't have a grand mal seizure and possibly die? Why? Because it's not structured to help us. We're under the illusion of freedom. This is not what was intended. None of this is what was intended. None of it. And many people want to be atheist and not believe in a higher power, a creator, because how could a creator allow this to happen? Well, they forget the part about free will. And he didn't want slaves. He wanted you to choose to live as a decent person, an honorable person, a respectful person on your own, without any fear necessarily of the repercussions of not doing that. It's your choice. He didn't want robots to follow him, unlike our leaders. He didn't want to force us. He wanted voluntary action. So, we are to blame. The human race, or the leaders of the human race. But no matter what happens, it has to stop. We can't continue like this. They have a plan, and we need to have our plans. We need to stop going against each other for all the insignificant details and unite under survival of us and our families, and especially our children. Especially our children. Things are shifting. That's where the positivity comes in. People are asking me questions when they didn't want to hear what I had to say before. I'm still learning. Life is learning. But one thing I know for sure, it didn't have to be this hard. It didn't have to be this hard. If people would realize individually who they are and collectively the strength that we have, if we would just take care of each other. If people really valued life and they valued the innocent, we wouldn't have been living like this. Even in what some people thought or think is the greatest country on earth. It's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. I don't know what's to come, but I'm here to tell you that you have to be very careful. All books have been written and published by the ones who want them to be published and written, the history books, all of it. We are governed to teach only out of certain text and nothing else. They won't allow teachers even the freedom to go outside of the textbooks that they mandate that the teachers teach under. None of us knew about how Israel was actually, developed and bought and who bought it and how it was put together in the 1940s and 50s. Nobody talked to us. I think 47 or something. Nobody talked to us about that. It was just a blanket statement about Israel being created. No background information. Unless you were maybe a history major, you might have covered it in college, but I highly doubt it. Not the truth. Not the way it should have been covered. They teach us what they want us to know. Sometimes that's parts of the truth. Sometimes it's not true at all. That's why they told you that doing your own research was dangerous. Remember? So, think for yourself. There is hope. Because this has got to stop. There's hope. But it doesn't mean it's going to shift and be an easy thing. And it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Remember, they know the script in the book. They know it. It doesn't negate the book, but they know the script so they can follow it to a certain extent for control. Do not lose your faith and start believing somebody who gives you dates that don't come to fruition and therefore you give up hope. I know from experience, true experience, my son's near-death experience, that the Creator and great, great people who were great spiritual leaders existed, that were just trying to teach us how to live. And they took it and they twisted it and they manipulated us with it and created divisions that I don't think any of those great spiritual leaders intended whatsoever. There is one Creator, and we are His children. And we're here to learn. And we're here to help right the ship. But we have to see what's going on to do it. Take care of your part of the little bit of the world, and if we all took care of our little dot here, the dots would become one big dot, what would become one big community, would become one big state, would become one big country, could become the whole world if we'd all just take responsibility for our place in it. Hang on. I know it seems I feel it. I feel helpless. I mean, what am I supposed to do? But I'm going to live. We need good energy here. We all emit energy. We need good energy here. Hang on. Things are turning, but it doesn't mean it's going to get easy before it gets better. I think it's going to get better. I really do. And it might be a change that's a little bit inconvenient, but can you imagine a world with truth and caring and decency being the key to whether or not you respect a person or not? And not their degrees or what color they are, or what gender they are, or what family they came from, or who they're related to. But who they are as an individual. It took a long time to get us here, and it's going to take time to get us out of it. But hang on. Life goes on. We might witness the greatest shift. One of those moments in history. You know, I don't even know about some of the moments in history, if they actually happened or they happened the way they said they did. But this might be the greatest one of all, where people actually care for people. That would be the greatest gift. Love to you all. Hang in there. It's not all bad. There's still a lot of good in the world. I exist. You exist. Your family exists. Beautiful animals exist. Nature still exists. Don't get bogged down in too many of the details. Try and paint the pretty picture as pretty as you can with all the negativity going on around us. And take care of yourself so that you can take care of others, because they're going to need you. Love to you all. Bye for now.